Hi folks, so sadly it's time for me to part with this Figaro. I've got a baby coming in a month, so I had to opt for something a bit more family friendly. So this one's up for grabs. It's a project that I've been working on for the last couple of years, and it certainly isn't finished. A lot of cool stuff has been done to this car, but there's still a lot more that can be done, and it could go in various directions, I suppose, from here, as mad as can be, or just tidy it up as it is and enjoy it. Essentially, the bodywork needs to be finished. I'm in an R-ing about changing the colour, but lots of mods have been made to the bodywork itself, which I'll run through in a minute. As those mods have been happening, I've just been making it presentable, but the bodywork certainly isn't finished. It was essentially, I was working towards getting all the body mods done and then having the car painted. And I thought about, it does look super cool in black, so black was definitely a contender, but I was thinking about, Datsun Safari Gold or VW Pistachio Green, or Rosso Corsa, or just something bright, but I don't know, I guess I'll leave that for the next owner now. But yeah, so the bodywork, please consider that the bodywork does need doing. I'll run through the mods that we've done the bodywork so far. So obvious things like the badge is come off the bonnet, and the grille's been deleted. They normally have a big kind of fussy grille with a big chrome surround and big indicators here. We've got motorcycle indicators hidden behind the grille, which is fine, no problem for MOT or anything else. The headlight surrounds are blacked. There are usually extra chrome features that go here. People call them the hockey sticks, so they've been removed. There's also some sort of trim that ran all the way along the shoulder of the car, all the way along, and as you can see, there was holes in these are plastic, so there was no holes in there, but in the metal panels there were holes all the way along. So these have been welded up, and as I say, I've just made them presentable, but they'll need a high build primer and some bodywork and stuff, but that's gone, and that ran all the way down here, all the way down here, all the way down here. The wing mirrors have been replaced by these little GT style mirrors, which actually are quite functional. Around the back, what have we done? We've got an Audi Tt Spoiler. I actually have the extension for that as well, to make it a little bit bigger, which can go with the car. Hockey stick's gone from the rear as well, they're normally there. The boot lid normally has a big recess in it, with chrome border with your fog light and your reverse light in it, for Japanese style number plates as well, because of course these are all imports. Had the boot lid smoothed, and went with more like a kind of a classic mini style. The whole build's kind of a little bit inspired by classic minis, to be fair. So it just gives a unique look, makes the car look a little bit wider and a little bit more unusual, I suppose. But the biggest thing that's changed about the bodywork of the car is the roof. So all Figaros come from factory as kind of convertible. So they have a rag top in the center here, which rolls all the way back, folds all the way back I should say, and then this hard section also folds back, and all of this stuff bundles up and goes into this top boot here. But I wanted to do away with all that. It was leaky and annoying and a bit crap, to be honest. So I wanted to continue with the sort of sports theme of the build and do away with that, save some weight, save some complication, and so that was welded up, and it was actually welded up with a Audi bonnet, so the inside skin is still there. Originally I'd planned to cover that all the way down with some interior trim, but in the meantime I really do like the fact that you can still see the Audi sticker there on the bonnet. I think it's quite quirky and cool, and I thought, well, as soon as I have a hardtop, I may as well have a roof scoop, because no other Figaro is going to have a roof scoop, so excuse the rain. There's a roof scoop on there. It is functional. It comes through to all that hole there, so it just gives you a bit of fresh air. You can put a bung in it if you don't want the fresh air, but I haven't felt the need to bung it yet. So that's pretty much the bodywork. The front is on Corsa B coilovers, which is a common thing for K10 micro folks to do. The front's really sorted, to be honest. It's got a strut brace on it, which I'll show you in a minute as well, but it's the front end, I would say, suspension wise, I'm happy with that. The back is on lowering springs and sports shocks, and to be honest, they're, I mean, 1,000 times better than the stock Figaro suspension, but not really cutting the mustard, to be honest. I would say that they would still be on my to-do list to sort out some coilovers for the rear. There are a few companies that do K10 coilovers, including Gizfab and a few others. So certainly something for the next owner to consider. I mean, it's perfectly drivable and handles fun. It's super fun handling, brilliant. But it's just I think it could sit a little bit better if it was on coilovers, and it would probably handle a little bit better too. So what else should I show you? I'm going to forget loads of stuff, I'm sure. Let's have a look in here real quick. So mostly standard stuff in here, to be honest. Other than the stereo, I just put a Bluetooth stereo in there and a power socket there as well. Obviously we got 3 pedals in this car. We got the manual stick, of course. You had to have the 8-ball on here, and a little sort of carbon style gator that was left over from an RX-7 build that I did previously. Magnetic phone thingy. What else? Yeah, as I said, K10 seats, did I mention them? K10 micro seats, they're a little bit less fancy looking than the Figaro seats. Rear seats are stripped out. The rear seats in a Figaro are completely useless, so I stripped them out. I did think about cutting this bulkhead through to the boot area as well, making kind of a cup style interior, but I never got around to it. But that's where I chuck my shopping, basically. That's my shopping compartment. You get a little cubby hole there, you get a little cubby hole there. Heaters work, everything works, interior lights work. One quirky thing is that the horn's wired up to the AC, because the AC is deleted, which I'll talk about in a minute. So your horn's on the AC. But yeah, let's have a look under the bonnet. So I've done quite a bit under here. So this is the standard Figaro engine, which is an MA10 ET single turbo 1 litre. Obviously performs very differently now that it's on a manual box rather than the automatic box. There's a little turbo right there. Okay, so what have I done? I've done the strut brace. I've done a catch can. I've done a blow-off valve. I've done a much more direct intake system. But most of the things I've done under here is taking things away. So power steering's gone, air conditioning's gone, lots of fussy bits that weren't really needed, they've all gone. The amount of weight that came out of the car, which, you know, including the automatic gearbox and the associated system and the power steering and the aircon, the amount of weight is ridiculous. I could not believe how heavy this stuff was, and how much of a drain it must have had on this little engine as well. So as soon as that was all removed and these changes were made, the thing is so much happier than it used to be. I think these have about 75 horsepower. I don't know, actually, there you go, so it says it here. So it's, I think, 70, I don't know if you can see that, 76 PS from factory, and I reckon, you know, a third of that was driving all the unnecessary systems. But yeah, she's happy. She's like, it's such a fun car to drive. You know, the drive a slow car fast rather than a fast car slow approach. This car is definitely that. It's absolutely hilarious. But that said, the next owner could take it in any direction. I mean, people put SR20s into K10 Micras. I've seen VTEC swaps, and even recently in Japan there's been a build using S2000 running gear. I mean, you can obviously do whatever you want, but if you just want a car that is good on fuel, fun to drive, and is very, very different, then this car is good as it is. It just needs finishing up, I guess. I'm sure I've forgotten 1,000 things, but I think that's pretty much it. I'll put a full list of mods and changes in the description. But yeah, I think that's about it. I just hope it finds a happy new home. Cheers.